Can you tell us about your legal background and how your professional experience has prepared you to serve as a Ninth Circuit judge?
Yeah, absolutely. My path to the law is not your traditional path. I spent the first part of my career as a military police officer in the U.S. Army Reserves, and I previously worked for the state of Florida as a probation officer. It was during that time that it taught me my work ethic of discipline, integrity, and accountability. I started practicing law at the age of 35. And I brought those same work ethics over with me, and I've applied them as I've worked as a public defender, as a family law attorney, and as a labor lawyer representing some of our local labor unions. That work ethic and the discipline also helped me during this time to understand, you have to meet people where they are. And so I think those things in the full picture that I have of what's happening and being able to, I previously practiced now in criminal court, civil court, as well as family court, to see how all those things are intertwined. And the fact that I can see that full picture and take all those things into account when making decisions, I believe make me unique and qualified to be a judge.
Well, speaking of that, what motivated you to run for Ninth Circuit judge, and what unique perspective would you bring to the bench?
Oh, well, that's funny. Well, my unique experience is that I've been on multiple sides of the law. As I said, I started my early career really enforcing the law and then shifting now to advocating for individuals when they're involved with the law, whether that's as a public defender or as a labor lawyer representing the union employees. And so I think that makes me uniquely qualified in the sense that I know how to work with people from different areas of life. I've worked with some really high profile professionals. I've worked with some of the great bus drivers for Orange County Public School Systems. I mean, I've worked with some very diverse people, and even being a probation officer, I've supervised people who've been on probation for some very serious offenses. However, the common factor is that they still all deserve respect. They deserve to be treated with dignity. And I believe that's what makes me uniquely qualified in that I can set aside any potential personal bias and focus on what's in front of me, the person that's in front of me, what are those facts, and make a decision based upon that.
Judicial candidates often speak about fairness and impartiality. How would you describe your judicial philosophy, and how would it guide your decisions on the bench?
Um, my judicial philosophy is the law is there. The law is there for a reason, and it is to be applied in the cases. However, I don't believe just what's in the book is the end of the story. You have to factor in the human factor as well and look at the full picture. That's kind of the theme of, of my campaign. What's the full picture here? How did this person get into this situation? And so I think that's how my philosophy um, would be helpful. I think that's how I can ensure that it's fair. And the impartial part is, as I said before, meeting people where they are, not putting my expectations or my bias into the equation. It's hearing that person's case in front of me. What are their circumstances, and having empathy and understanding and listening, and being patient with people, and just listening and really trying to understand the full picture of what's going on here before making a decision.
The Ninth Judicial Circuit serves a diverse population across Orange and Osceola counties. How has your experience prepared you to understand and serve such a broad range of communities?
Um, I think, as I said, the diverse background. I mean, if we look at just my 7 years working with labor unions, work with Orange County Public School employees, both our teachers and our support professionals. So everyone from the classroom teacher and guidance counselor all the way across the spectrum to the mechanics, to the custodian, to the lunchroom personnel, to the bus drivers. And what you find is you have a very diverse background of people in those positions. And sometimes people would believe that if they're not a teacher, they should be treated less than. But what I learned is sometimes the custodian actually was a doctor in another country where they live, but they've come to the United States and this is the job that's available for them. So it really helped reinforce for me that don't judge people, just meet people where they are. And that's how you deal with a diverse population. Just meet people where they are, learn who that person is, what their qualities are, and grow from there. Don't come in with your own preconceived notions.
Communities like Pine Hills are an important part of the Ninth Circuit and often face unique challenges related to access to resources and the justice system. How would your experience and approach as a judge help ensure fairness and equal access to justice for residents in communities like Pine Hills?
Well, one, I think it's getting out there and learning what the issues are. And is the accessibility, is it related to just not understanding the court process or is it the actual access to court? We have a lot of virtual options that are now available. And so I think as a judge, for me, I'm going to look at every virtual option that's available that the resident feels comfortable using, understanding not every person, it's good with technology, but providing them with that opportunity because I want to be respectful of their time. It's a lot to travel downtown for court. Sometimes you're there for multiple hours, but just being respectful of people's times as it pertains to scheduling, getting them in and out of court, but not to the point that we're rushing them. I want them to still feel heard. I want them to understand the process that's happening. I think it's important to get out and just do workshops. Those are things that I've done previously in my career, just doing Know Your Rights workshop, teaching people about the law. I think all of those things are important because as people learn to trust you and they understand things better, I think it helps them to trust the judicial system even more.
What steps can a circuit judge take to help build that confidence and trust within the community?
I'm just getting out and talking to people. That's what I've been doing that my entire career. Just getting out and talking to people. You will learn so much about people. It'll help you grow as well. But I think just talking, being a regular person, having regular conversations, not necessarily in a position always where I'm in the authority position and I'm telling you something. It's really just communication. It's a conversation that we're having where I'm learning something about you. I'm learning things and I'm growing because I can learn something from you. You might teach me something that I don't know. So I think it's really just being in the community, talking to people, showing up, being available when you're asked to sit on panels and answering questions, just participating in the community.
Circuit judges manage complex cases and busy courtrooms. How would you describe your leadership style, and how would you ensure efficiency while maintaining fairness?
My leadership style is one of order, preparation, and accountability. That's the military background. There's an order for things, but in order to keep things on track and in order, you have to be prepared. So I have to look at case files before they come before me, so that I'm prepared. I know things about this case that's going to help to move things along within that, and then the accountability of okay, I did my part. This person did their part. Who didn't do their part? Let's talk about that. And how can we remedy that so that this doesn't happen again moving forward? And that's been my leadership style throughout my career in managing my firm, managing personnel within the union. I don't micromanage. I don't. I also understand that work is not everything. So I want to see the full picture of people. And so that's more my leadership style.
What distinguishes you from other candidates in this race, and why do you believe voters should support your candidacy?
It's really what I've been talking about. I think I'm uniquely qualified because I've been on different sides of the judicial system. Like I said, from working in law enforcement to shifting to a public defender, to serving as a labor lawyer, all of those things make me uniquely qualified and help me to understand the big picture, that it's not just what the law says. The law is great, but you also need to see the big picture of how the courts interact with each other. As I mentioned, I understand that if a father loses his license in criminal court, it impacts what happens in his ability to pay child support in family court. All those things, I understand that because I've practiced in all those areas. I've seen it from both sides. And so I think that's what makes me uniquely qualified. I also think that the fact that I understand real life, I have real world experience of how did we get here, that sometimes your circumstances are the reason we are in the position that we're in. And you don't necessarily need to be punished, you need an opportunity. So I think someone who can see that full picture, it's not just what does the book say.
If elected, what impact would you hope to make during your time on the bench? And what would success look like for you as a Ninth Circuit judge?
The impact that I would like to make is that people feel encouraged to run your race. That is something that I've always taught my children. Don't schedule your life based upon what the person next to you is doing. I didn't start law school until 30 because that was the race that I ran. It didn't mean what I did meant less. I still got to where I was trying to go. And so that's what I want to teach people. You don't have to come from the quote unquote right track. You don't have to do it this way to get to where you're trying to go or to achieve your dreams. So if I can teach people that who you are is enough and you can do anything in life that you want to do, if you're focused, you have the discipline, that I think would be a great achievement for me. What would I consider success? Just more people who look like me doing that, following the path. That's success. More people involved in the court system, more people showing up for jury duty, understanding the significance of it, increase in voter turnout, understanding the significance of all of those actions. Like if I can help people understand those things, I would consider that success.